Mine is going good. I just got out of work. No more work until Monday. So now I have just run a couple of errands and on my way home. Okay. So there's this thing that my dad used to do that I used to find incredibly annoying. My title here is Any Lessons Learned. So the annoying thing that he used to do is that whenever something really terrible or catastrophic would happen, at the end of it, he would get this like smirk on his face, and he'd be like, "Any lessons learned?" High Turicity. And it used to be so annoying because for me, when something happens, like I'll give you an example. I remember this time that we were on our way. I don't remember where we were going, but we were on a road trip. And he went out to go pump the gas. And then when he left the car, a couple minutes later, me, my sister, and my mom were in the car, and somebody knocked on the window. And my mom rolled down the window, and he said, "Is that your husband?" And she said, "What happened to my husband?" And he was like, "Your husband was hit by a car, and he went flying in the air and hit his head on the ground." And I remember my mom just jumped out of the car. She ran out, and he was on the ground, and the car had hit him. Somebody had hit him while he was walking. This older guy who shouldn't have been driving, and hit him into the air. And luckily, it was not as bad as it could have been. So, really, what ended up happening was there was a big gash on his head and it was bleeding. So, he had to go to the hospital. And then our trip was kind of delayed because he had to be treated. He was the one driving, and I think at that time I did not have my license yet, and my sister, I don't think, had her license either, or maybe she had it but she just wasn't comfortable with that kind of long trip. So, and my mom doesn't drive on highways anymore, so everything was delayed and everything. So I remember after he got stitched up and we got ourselves back onto the road, the JK doesn't count. Oh, I guess the JK does count. My dad was like, "Any lessons learned?" And I'm like, "What lessons could be learned from you getting hit by a car? Look both ways before you cross the street." I mean, honestly, he was at a gas station, so you don't expect someone to speed into the gas station and hit you when you're going across the street to go pay for your gas. I bet you're gonna get pulled over. I bet you're not gonna make another comment on the page. $10 Cash App. And if he doesn't, you all send me $10 Cash App. How about that? So anyways, as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about my life over the past few months, but then I was also thinking larger scope of my life over the past 11 to 12 years. And I'm thinking in terms of my mental health issues, and then I'm thinking of in terms of becoming a peer specialist. In theory, when I was told about what a peer specialist is and what a peer specialist does, best job in the world. I was like, this is the absolute best job in the world. Because going through my own struggles within the system, now there's this thing called becoming a peer specialist and providing hope to people by sharing with them and giving way that the clinician generally does not do. In theory, that sounded like the best job that I could possibly get. And but then once I got into the workforce, there's been so many different hardships that I have found with being in that field. And the last job that I was in really magnified those things. So if I had to summarize the biggest lesson that I've had to learn with becoming a peer specialist, boundary setting. And I know that sounds obvious, but it's obvious is for a peer specialist than it is for possibly any other practice in the field, because those boundaries I think are kind of built in for other positions. For an example, for most people, not all, but for most people, when they sit in a therapy session with their therapist and the therapist starts talking to them about different treatment, their treatment plan or their care plan or whatever it might be called, and they're telling them about they're giving them different advice on how they can get through different struggles, the client might ask them, so what's happening in your life, or did you experience this in your marriage, or are you married, do you have children, can you relate to this, because I'm specifically talking about children and I want to speak to somebody who has children. Would you do this with your boyfriend or girlfriend on date night? You know what I mean? And like I said, not all clinicians will do this, but the majority of clinicians will be like, that's inappropriate, you know. I'm not here to tell you about my life. I'm here to help guide you through the things that are going on with your life. I mean, some clinicians have softer boundaries, because yes, I have had things that I've talked about with a therapist that they will give me a small window into their life. But I'll tell you the reason why I'm saying it's so different from being a peer specialist. The point of a peer specialist is actually shared experience. So when therapeutic, you are actually supposed to share pieces of your life and share about your experiences and share about your diagnosis. It can be something that helps somebody in terms of, mentorship, providing hope, etc. But here's the drawbacks of that. It automatically takes away a layer of your boundaries. So many times when you meet with people, whether that is individual session, whether that is field visits, whether that is within a group setting like what I'm doing now, they feel like a closeness or a connection to you. They call that transference, I believe. Yeah, they call that transference, because a lot of them don't have family who understands them, or their friends don't understand them, or maybe they don't even really have too many family or friends around them, and they're kind of in isolation. So they see you in whatever setting they see you in, and you strike up conversations, and you're like, they're telling you something, yeah, I've experienced that too, I had that problem too. So you get what I'm saying, and they're all excited because now they have somebody who they feel like cares about them that they don't have in their day-to-day. But then for you, so I say all that to say the lesson that I've had to learn over and over, but that I'm really, really, really strict on now, is those boundaries. Like, when they eat their lunch in the lunchroom, I eat my lunch outside of the office altogether. when my group is done, I'm not lingering in the group, extending the conversation past the group. Hey, it's 11 o'clock. I hope you all have a nice day. I'm only seen or heard when I'm actually doing my job, and it has to be that way because unfortunately, you know, like I said, in various different work environments, I've learned that over and over again. And there's nothing that is going to change that. It's so bright that I can't even see these comments. Hi, Edward. You know what you need. There's something to be said when you've been in the trenches with people. Hi, Marshall. Hi, Butterfly. Hi, Some Guy. Hi, Cass. Thanks for the subscription, Breezy Savage. Thanks, Edward. It is what, about 4:50 where I'm at, New York City, Eastern time zone. Yeah, so I would say that my biggest lesson learned is just that. I mean, it's unfortunate that it has to be that way, but it literally has to be that way. Because that personal connection piece of it, it's so gray area and has been used against me so many times that at this stage, for the remainder of the time that I remain in this specific field, which who knows how much longer that will be, it could be a short time. My interactions with my clients outside of the job description and the exact times that I have to do my work with them is very limited. And sometimes people want to view it as you don't care. No, it's not that you don't care. It's that you're not helping a friend, a family member. It's still a job, no matter what. It's still a job. And I've been in that position before too, in a way where, you know, I received services. I received mental health services from people who were relatable, who were friendly, who gave me insights into their life and their experiences and people in their life or whatever. And, you know, I didn't have that type of relationship outside of those settings. So I started to feel like this person is my friend, or, you know, like I like this person. This is a person. I experienced that a lot and as somebody working in the mental health field, to where you're so leery of your population, and you start to set really, really hard boundaries because it's necessary. So that would be the lesson that I would say that I learned within my last 12 years. I mean, I wish I could sit here and tell you that it was a lesson that I learned about becoming a better service worker in that sense, but I think I've pretty much had a lot of those tools from the jump. I've already been really good at the job from the beginning. I've just had to learn that I can only give so much of myself as a person. Because of the potential ramifications of that, just due to human nature and the field that you're in. It's it's pretty good. I said the other day, I'm never gonna sit here and tell y'all that I am excited about any of these jobs, but I will say the environment is probably one of, if not the most non-toxic environments that I've been in. It's laid back. I have not had any conflicts. My coworkers are generally nice. I haven't had any real problems, and this is the end of my third week. But a job is a job, and I'll probably never tell you anything different until I find something that really aligns with my passions, because that's always going to be what I want. New, I don't know, I guess 2 months old. These glasses, I bought them at Five Below. I don't know if you got Five Below in your area. I used to buy expensive glasses, and then I would sit down, I would leave them on my car seat, and then I would sit on them, and then they would break, or they would fall on the floor or something, and then I wouldn't notice them on the floor and step on them. Now I get my glasses from places like Five Below, Old Navy, places where I'm not going to spend more than $20 on that pair of glasses. Because I definitely have broken a couple of Ray-Bans. I had some Louis Vuitton glasses. I had some nice glasses, and they all broke. So I'm like, if I break these $5 glasses, I can just go back into Five Below, find another pair, or find another style. They're very New York. I'm bad about being too nice with workers and stuff. They think we're friends, that they don't do work. I'm like, no. With workers, yeah, that part I haven't had to learn. I was never like that. With clients, yes. And it's not like I was even overly friendly with clients. I was just nice. I was just my regular personality that I'm like outside of the job. I was just naturally like that with clients, to where everybody feels like they're my friend. And I have had to intentionally tell myself, Mark, when you walk into your work environment, you have to be less friendly. And I'm not trying to say that I am not friendly, but I am far less friendly to my clients in the work environment than I am to the average Joe that starts a conversation with me in the grocery store line, or the person that I see at the bank, or the person who um, is checking out my order when I go into whatever store. You know what I mean? I've had to turn that down. Mark, you're stepping into the work environment. You got to let these people know that they're not your friends. And that sounds harsh, but anybody who's done any kind of social work related type of work will know exactly what I'm talking about, especially if you're a man. This field is dominated by women. There's very few men in this field. There's very few men in the field, and the majority of clients are women. I'm totally a Five Below person on sunglasses. My uncle's AIDS. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta set your own boundaries. Yeah, I don't even have to set boundaries with coworkers because they just flat out, they just know from jump. Because I'm not sitting with them at the lunch table. I'm not like, oh my God, you're my long lost friend. We need to add each other on Facebook. I don't have any of them on social media. I don't have any. Well, they do have my phone numbers at this job, my phone number at this job, but that's only because they didn't give me an option. They didn't give me a work phone. So they were just like, oh, we're going to share your number in the group chat so you can be a part of the group chat. And I'm like, really? I don't mind being in the group chat if y'all provide me the phone. But if my personal phone number is in the group chat, the day that I'm not on that I leave the job, you can still contact me. And I feel like that should be my option if I'm leaving, to be like, here's my phone number. If you want to contact me, you can. But maybe that's just a me thing. Have a great evening, Marshall. Jay Jagannath. Am I missing something? Hello, Dark Pixel. Yeah, so they don't come to me. They learn, any job that I go, they learn quickly that I'm not friendly with them. Like, I'm friendly with them. I'm not trying to say that I'm the person that they walk in and they're like, oh, here goes Mark. He's not nice. But what I'm trying to say is I'm friendly up to the point that I have to be. Like, I'm the Grinch when I wake up in the morning. So getting up and having to interact with humans at 8:30 in the morning is kryptonite to me. But before I leave my house, and I mean before I leave my car when I get to the office, I'm like, put a smile on your face, Mark. Tell everybody good morning. When they crack their jokes in the morning, give them a little chuckle, you know, ask them how they're feeling. Like, I really, you know how, you all watch Big Brother, or the majority of you watch Big Brother. If you remember when Sari was on Big Brother, like once they were probably 70 plus days in, and she had to practice acting friendly, and then when she left the room she was flipping the bird. That's me. So they don't see that side of me. But once I have exchanged all my pleasantries in the morning, now I'm sitting in my office. I'm not speaking to anyone any further unless somebody comes by my office, but I am not going out to the front desk or to somebody else's office to make friendly with them after that. That's weird for them to contact afterwards. You must be missing something, Dark Pixel. Bye. Okay. That's like school. You know what? In school, I was socially awkward, but I wanted to be social when I was in school. Like, in school, I was like, I wish I was one of the popular kids or the jocks, you know? I wish I was the person who was, I was just one of the people that everyone wanted to be friends with. Like, I wasn't, people liked me, but it wasn't like I was shifting the earth for people to want to be friends with me. You know, like, people generally liked me, but it wasn't like I'm walking down the hallway and everybody's walking with me because it's cool to walk with me type of thing. But I wanted that. And then when I became an adult, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of cool how I am. And I don't need a large group of people for validation. And I don't want one either, because I don't like a lot of people around me. I really don't. I definitely have to prepare myself for the day. I literally talk to myself. I talk to myself in the morning to convince myself to get up. I talk to myself in the shower. I talk to myself while I'm eating my breakfast. I talk to myself when I first get into the car. And then I don't talk to myself on the way. I just put my music on. And then when I get there, I sit in my car for a couple of minutes and talk to myself again. Oh man, I know that sounds crazy, but that's 100% what I do every single day, every single work day. I don't add to socials usually or give my number out. I feel like even strangers just want to tell me their life stories. I really like the two ladies I work with. You know what? But it's funny. I like all of my coworkers at this job. I've had jobs where there's been a couple of people where I'm like, I really, really don't like that person. But at this job, there's some that I like more than others, but I generally like all of them. But it still does not give me a desire to know them on a personal level. I'm fine with the relationships just as they are. I really am. Okay, Edward. Thanks for jumping on. See you later. I'm naturally nice, but I'm not naturally pleasant. Because, like, for an example, when I walk into a work environment, I am conditioned to be somewhat pleasant. But if I was just walking out of my house to run some errands, whether you get a pleasant version of me or not depends on whatever type of mood that I'm in, depends on what's happened to me that day. It can vary greatly. I could walk out and do all my errands and say yes, no, thank you. And that could be the whole extent of every one of my conversations. Or it could be a day where I'm like, you know what, I feel pretty good today. And someone strikes up a conversation with me and, you know, they get that version of me. But it's not a guarantee like it is at work. I feel like that's all a part of the work experience that I present. I consider being pleasant to people at work part of my job. I actually do. And it is. Because I never want to be one of those people who is working like clinically depressed, not just clinically depressed. And then they have to come and see me. They're like, hey, good morning, Mark. And I'm like, hi. And they're like, man, this person who's supposed to be helping me through is making me feel worse. Sometimes I do fake YouTube vlogs. I got it from my mom. My mom talks to herself. My mom speaks to herself 10 times more than I do. I will leave my room and she'll be in the kitchen speaking to as if somebody is there. Like if you were to hear her talk, you would think there was somebody in the kitchen with her. And then I come out and nope, it's just her. It's just her having a whole dialogue with herself. Mine is just situational. I talk to myself situationally. She has running dialogues with herself out loud every single day. My doctor's charts always say very pleasant. Um, yeah, they put those types of things. They put those. I'm surprised about doctor's notes. I guess doctors have some similarity to social work notes. Who doesn't talk to themselves? No, but when I talk to themselves, I don't mean like your inner voice. I mean like literally the way that I'm talking to this YouTube right now, doing this without anybody there. It always pays to be pleasant around at work. Exactly. That's exactly why I do it, Isaac. That's exactly why I do it. Because if I was to just revert to my natural tendencies, I would be known as the weird, quiet one. I always think to myself, I am so fake when I get to work. Not because I'm not saying like I'm fake as a person, but I just mean like I'm using social energy that I would not for 8 straight hours. So I people don't understand. I want to just go into a cave and not talk to anybody. I don't want to speak to anybody when I get off work. That's why YouTube has become like such an amazing outlet for me, because even though I'm talking to people, they're not around me. So like I'm doing the talking to myself that I normally do, except I'm getting written feedback. I told the doctors I still want very pleasant in my chart, but them still do their job without me not being pleasant. Isaac, that's the story of my life. I'm the quiet, weird one. Yeah, I don't even care about being considered quiet or weird, except at work, you know, and because I don't want to be that person at work. I have been that person at work. They probably kind of consider me that person at this job low key. Because, like I said, they all convene every day and they're chatting and they're talking about what they're doing after work, and they're talking about their family. They're talking about this, that, and the other. And I can hear them, but I just stay right in my office unless spoken to. I make an effort when I walk in the building, like I said. When I pass by people, I will tell them good morning. How are you feeling today? You know, like I do all get in there. But then once I sit in my office, that I just get on the computer from there. I put my headphones on. I listen to music, and I do my own thing until called upon to do something that requires me to interact again. And the clients are always like, "Oh, you're so quiet," and I'm like, oh, you know, that's just my personality. I'm just, a quiet guy, I guess. One moment. I'm giving you the 6-minute warning. I'm gonna be on here for another 6 minutes to make it an 40, and then I'm heading off because I have arrived back home. I think if you're, you know what, you are. This is the truth. I'll tell you something. I am true to myself to a fault. I'm true to myself to the point where I know exactly what I would have to do to get more opportunities, but I'm so uncomfortable acting that outside of my regular personality. Just won't do it. People tell me all the time, Mark, if you were like this and you were like that, um, you would be much further along. And I tell them, I'm like, you're absolutely right, but it's not a sacrifice that I can really make. And a part of me loves the fact that when I go into an interview, I know people that go into these interviews super prepped with hella lies. And I'm not saying that I don't spice things up for an interview, but I am saying I've walked into so many interviews without prep and gotten offered the job. And they're like, your transparency is refreshing. And like part of me loves that. I've the opportunity, while they might not be the best or the top opportunities, they've all just been by being myself. So I've worked on being a little bit different in some ways, like the ones that I've described on here, but the differences are not extreme. Like people that I have become friends with outside of the job are like, you're so funny because pretty much just a less filtered version of yourself. Where some people, you'll meet them in a certain environment, then you'll meet them outside of that environment, and you're like, you're not even the person that I thought you were. Nobody says that about me. They're like, you are pretty much the same person. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm just me. I'm just me in every environment. It's just that sometimes I'm like a turned down version of me, like at work. Sometimes I'm a turned up version of me when I'm around people that I really care about and people that I trust. And sometimes I'm just a regular, even Steven version of myself when when I don't have to put on for anybody. Like, to give you an example, the turned up version of me, one of the turned up versions of me, when you see me at those Big Brother things, the first time I went to the, so work, let's say work at 4 o'clock for me, and I had to be in Manhattan 6 for the event. So that just gave me just enough time to come home, shower, change, and jump on the train to get out to the event. And then I was at the event from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. Got home 2 or 3 around there, and then went into work at 8 the next day. And I was so drained, not because of the sleep part, just because I'm my social battery from 6 to 1, because when I go there, I'm not just there to be there just as a fan, to just, hang out, and whoever I see, and I'm just like, hey, can I take a picture? No, I'm actually specifically like, I'm treating this like a work day. I'm going there to get as many people on video as possible, to try to secure interviews, to network. It's like a job. So now, the next two of Big Brother premiere parties that I went to, I took the day off. Matter of fact, last year I took 2 days off. I took the day because it was a 2-day event. I took both of those days off work because I knew it would command that much energy, just that much of my social energy, literally. I'll be a kiss A, but I'm helpful, and luckily it's my norm to be helpful. It's gonna sound bad, but I don't really extend my hand to help people anymore, because the interesting thing is, helping my colleagues makes them feel good, but has not done anything for me historically, in terms of movement. Um, Helping your boss, your supervisor, or helping one of the higher ups and letting them see what you can do, the higher ups, that moves the needle. But like pushing something I have to do to the side, or postponing something that I need to do to assist. So many years I did that, and not only was it not reciprocated, but it wasn't rewarded. So, I'll help people here and there, but nowadays I just go in and do my job and I go home. But anyways, y'all, thank you again for joining me. Thanks for your support. And drop a comment after the video drops. Let me know what is type is like. Um, put anything in there about your work experiences, friends at the job, if you don't make friends at the job, if you are a person facing job, if you do or have done person facing jobs, what has your experience been like with that? And also, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I'll be back. Who knows? I can't really guarantee you a time that I'll be back, but most likely, if not tonight, I'll be back at some point tomorrow. I might not be on Sunday. And have a great rest of your day and evening, if it's evening for you.